What's up, YouTube? This be emoneythemedsavage coming at you with a special guest. Let them know what's going on.
What's good, YouTube? This your boy O.B.S. General. Here to show you a little insight to my little setup, what I got going on right now. For our veg area, we got a little Sunblaze 4-bulb T5 up here. That keeps our beans that's going up inside this Mondo Dome right here nice and well lit. Down here we got another Sunblaze 8-bulb T5. This is over a 3x3 flood and drain system right here. We got a couple cuts in here. A friend of mine donated, so we're gonna try to see what this thing we're gonna do for a little test right now. Up top here we got a 6-inch hurricane fan, 6-inch ducting that kind of sweeps out, comes back around, keep that airflow going. Just keeping things nice and fresh up inside the veg tent, man. Take a look at some of the other things that we got going on. This is our first little 5x9 Gorilla Grow tent. This is going to be our first flower setup. In here we running 2 Daystar Hydro Farms 1000s. That's connected to 2 dimmable ballasts in the back. Those Lumitex, they go from 400 to 1000. So we got to run veg or flower in this tent, but this is strictly a flower tent for right now, people. Up top there we got a carbon filter 6-inch. Attached to that is a quick fan, 3 speed controls on that, so that right there keep this airflow moving from around this tent. Swinging down to the back corners over here, we have the Blue Lab Guardian monitors. They keep track of the ppms, the temperature, and the pH levels of what goes on down in the 4x4 flood tables that we running up in here. 2 of those setups up in here keep everything flowing nice, keep us on track, keep our temperatures, keep our pH, keep our ppms in check, man. Gotta stay on top of that.
That's right. Right on.
Alright, so up here in the middle here, we just got a little bit of added little thing here, a little DIY situation with this LED saucer. We'll get back into what they covering a little bit later, but we're gonna check out something else that we got going on, fellas. We call this the Mothership. This is the baby. This is the flower tent that we really gonna rock out and do some big things in. We're gonna see some things happen over here, so just make sure y'all stay tuned. Remember that, the Mothership, because we blasting off over here.
Yes, it fucking did.
This is where we going. Up in here we got 2 Sun System 1000s, air-cooled 6-inch lights up in here. They go from 400 to 1002. We got those connected to some Galaxy digital dimmable ballasts that can go from 400 also to 1000. Over here, I know it's a lot of ducting over here, but it's all for good reason, people. We want to actually make sure that we have the right airflow in here. When you're growing in a small space, you want to make sure that you have the proper airflow and things are moving where you want them to move, not where they can go. So, you know, pardon the little tanglement up there, but everything up there has a purpose. All right, but we're gonna start off with talking about this 14,000 BTU AC that we got. That's gonna cool off this whole 5x9, man. Definitely keeping those temperatures running cool at that 75 to 78. You gotta have optimal, man. When I thought about growing, I made sure that I wanted to make sure I covered all the bases. So airflow is definitely one of those things, man. But we're gonna swing it on down, man. Like, this is where the magic is actually going to happen at. Down here, man, we got a 12 bucket flow and grow set up down here, man. That's analog time, keeping everything running at where it's supposed to be, equal levels all through these buckets, man. None of these buckets will fill up separate. They will all fill up at exactly the right level every time we run into them. So just keep your eyes open for those, man. Like I said, this is where the magic is going to happen at, man. We got 12 of those 5 gallons. Definitely. What I do like about these is inside the bottoms, man, they have these nets that come out. You can actually turn these around, so you can actually move your plant, turn it around if it's not getting the right amount of light. So I really like these when I thought about what I wanted to have inside this Mothership right here. In the back, you can see we got a dehumidifier, keeping that humidity down, at least between that 50 to 60 degree range, keeping it optimal for them plants, making sure that we can get it exactly what we want. But one of the other things, man, you got to make sure that airflow is good. So in the back, we got up here, we got another 6-inch fresh carbon filter with a 6-inch fan and a muffler here. Because, you know, when you're in a small area, you want to make sure that you keep the noise down. So we got a muffler system attached to this one here. I can keep that airflow going up in here, cleaning out this room as well as the other tent. And when you're running both of these in a small space like this, you make sure you keep that odor down. If you're looking at part of this ductwork here, man, I wanted to make sure that my lights was all being cooled at the same time. I didn't want separate vents. So I got this one here that actually is cooled from that 6-inch fan in the background back there. It's going through both of this light system here, switching over to that other flood and drain system that we had on the other side. So right there, we got a 6-inch fan that actually connects to that to make sure that airflow keeps on traveling through there, man. Because sometimes when you're dealing with a lot of ducting, you want to make sure that you have ample enough air that you can actually move it how you want to move it to help keeping your room cool. So, like I said, this right here is the mothership, man. But every mothership, you gotta have a bridge. So like I was saying, man, every mothership gotta have a bridge, man. And this right here, this is the brain wall. This is where it all takes place at. So forgive these, these ducting here, man. That's my man Slinky, man. We DIY'd him right there. He just brings some fresh air from another filter, another fresh carbon filter with a 6-inch fan that we got down here at the bottom. He brings some fresh air into these tents, man, to keep it so that way I was having a problem with my tents sucking in. So I had to make sure that they got some fresh carbonated air being placed into them, keeping that air on top of that extra flowy. But back here on the wall, man, these are the brains right here. Over here, we got an autopilot. These are master timers right there. They keep track of the light timers. They keep track of the recycling as far as what happens in the flood and drain table as far as this recycling timer over here. They keep track of my minimums and my maximums as far as, the override, so I can keep things, if anything happens where I get a jolt of electricity or something like that, these things right here will turn off. And when they turn off, when they cut back on, they right where they was at, where I left them at. So they'll be able to flip right back on. And down here, we got a digital environmental controller. This right here controls them ACs, controls the CO2, controls those major big boys right there. That's why it's in the captain's seat. That's why it's right down there by itself, right there in the front of the ship. You know what I mean? We got some other things coming, man. Like I said, this was my first little go at this, man. I'm trying to make this happen, man. So we're gonna swing over to the left side though, cause one thing is key in this, man. You gotta have fresh water. Without the fresh water, we ain't got nothing. So in the back there, we got a 55-gallon drum. We got 2 air stones that's dropped in there at all times, keeping that water oxygenated, making sure that everything stays fresh from there. Gotta keep that algae out. That actually spins down to the bottom down here, and then when you spin down here, we got a water chiller, making sure that we keep that water at the right temperature, man, because sometimes in the summertime it get real hot. You want to make sure that you can actually keep that water at the right temperature, making sure that you have no problems, man. Over here we got a little DIY situation that I did for those people at home. If you can't afford an AC and you got to do it the old-fashioned way, then you got to make something happen, man. Right there we got a Home Depot attachment that brings our front airflow fan right there, where it comes out the AC right up into the 6-inch ducting right here. Dropping that with another 6-inch fan up here in the middle. Push that air right up to the top of this tent, and it drops right on down up in that tent to another fan, man. Keeping that air too, 75 to 78, man. No matter what you do, you gotta make sure you keep that heat down as much as you can. Keep doing what you're doing, man. I'm trying to grow. So I suggest y'all do the same, man. And back to this, man. Like I said, we'll get back to what I had going up underneath this little saucer LED I got here. I got this running in 24 hours over this turbo cloner, 24-site turbo cloner right here, man. Trying this out for, for my first go, man. I figured you either go big or you go home. So I know clones are definite females, man, and that's, that's where it's at these days sometimes. So you got to make sure that you keep some things going, man. And underneath this dome, man, is some gifts for some pretty impressive people, man. Over here to the left side, man, we got 16 cuts of some San Fernando Valley Kush from, you already know, E-Money, the Med Savage, man. Thank you so much for those, man. By the way, I can't even express the thanks that I have for those, man. Over here, he also gave me 6 cuts of some Smurfzilla, man. Thank you. Shout out, man. NorthGenetics, man. You guys, I've been following you guys for a long time, man. So I already know you guys got the best. Over here, we got 2 other cuts of some 98 Bubba Kush. You know what I mean? I watched my man kind of grow that out in one of his sessions before. I mentioned it to him, and he blessed me, man. Like I can't even say no more, man. Growers love don't even describe what took place underneath this tent right here. Yeah, man. Growers love don't even describe that, man. Shout out, man. NorthGenetics. Shout out E-Money, the Med Savage. Shout out to anybody that watched any video that I put up. Appreciate the love, man. Keep tuned, man. We got some big things coming over here, man. Keep your eyes going.
Y'all already know what it is, man. This be E-Money the Med Grows Savage. You know, chilling with O.B.S. General, man. I want you guys to tune in on his videos, man. Sub up to his YouTube channel. Sub up on Instagram. Follow him on Instagram, excuse me. And the description will be down below. He doesn't really have no content on Instagram out. This is because he's a first-time brewer. Really consistent on getting things done, as you guys can see. But I want you guys to tune in, guys. Sub up to him on YouTube. He's got a video out right now. And follow him on Instagram, man. Leave a comment down below. You already know what it is, man. This be E-Money the Med Grows Savage.
Ow.
Ow.